What's good, guys? I decided to talk today about language learning. So, in the last 2 years, I started in February 2017. I tried to teach myself a foreign language, which was Russian. And I made it so far that I can have short and easy real life conversations about simple topics with, local people from Russia. And I would like to give some advices just on what I experienced. Okay, so what went well, what wasn't good. I can't tell you how to learn the language exactly, or what is the fastest way to learn a language in 6 months and be fluent or something. This is not what this is going to be about. It's just about 7 things that I recognize while learning a language, while teaching myself a language, that are very important and can boost your progress. Okay, so with no further ado, here are the 7 points, the 7 advices. Number one is you need to find out your reason why you want to learn the language. You can't just say, okay, now I'm gonna learn Swedish or maybe Spanish. Okay, cool, but why? Why do you want to do it? It's the point, the first few days or maybe the first week, you are motivated and you want to do it, but then you figure out it's kind of complicated and it's a lot of work, so your motivation will go lower and lower and you will just stop learning it. A lot of people started not at the same time, but quite in the same period of time, around beginning 2017, with learning different languages. I had friends who started learning Spanish. I had friends who started learning French, and after, let's say, 2 to 4 weeks, they all quit and they didn't stick to it. So yes, they didn't learn anything at all. It was a waste of time, I guess. So you need a really good reason. For me, it was I wanted to train my brain. I do a lot of workout with my body, and I wanted to give some input to my brain that is not just like solving Rubik's cubes, for example, or doing mathematical stuff. It's just doing something that I can play with, that I can use afterwards, and this is learning a language. Why Russian? I was just interested in learning a different alphabet, and so my why is I want to be able to speak more languages fluent because I'm interested in traveling, I'm interested in Russian culture. Sometime or someday I want to go to Russia and visit maybe St. Petersburg or Moscow and see the White Knight or something. So my why is I'm just eager to learn languages and I'm interested in Russian. So you should find out your why, and it should be a good why, not because learning languages is cool or I just like it. Number 2, create a window of time, like a time space, where you learn it every day. So to me, it's right now in the moment, it would be like 60 minutes. I started with, let's say, 20 to 30 minutes, and you should free your day for exact this amount of time you want to study. There is no phone call in this time. There is no work in this time. There's nothing else to do in this time, just your language learning. And sooner, the more you learn about the language, the more you teach yourself, the more it will become a bigger part of your day life. But at first you need to find a space, like just some time where you can practice for yourself. To me, it was in the beginning just after waking up, because everyone else is asleep and your brain is very easy functional to understand new things in the morning. Okay, so this could be like a little hack. And in those 30 minutes every day, it's not good if you learn 2 hours one day and then you quit for 1 week. It's about consistency. Okay, so number 1 is advice number 2 is find some time during your day where you're by yourself and you can focus on language learning every single day. Okay, so this is something you need to understand. When you really want to learn a language, you have to focus on it every day. Okay, it's not a big problem if you skip it, let's say 1 or 2 days in a month. That's no problem. But all in all, you need to practice it every day. If you want to get good at soccer, okay, you play soccer a lot. If you want to become a good cook, you need to cook a lot. And if you want to be fluent or are able to speak a language, you need to practice this language every single day. That's it. Okay, here's advice number 3. Create fields that always deal with the language. Okay, this is advice that I got from Polyglot, I guess that's what you call it. Those are people who speak several different languages, let's say 7 up to 20 different languages. And what they do, not to confuse all those languages and keep in mind what they learned, is that they split their day in languages, okay? So every time when they deal with food, they speak Italian. Every time when they go for sports, they speak Russian. Every time when they do something in their garden, they speak Spanish. So they train their mind in specific rules to think in a specific language. And what I did is I figured out that every time when I'm on the street, let's say bicycle riding, going for a walk, or riding my car somewhere, I use my AirPods and I listen to Russian, or I have a Russian phone call every time when I'm on my bike or when I'm on my car, in my car, okay? So I created this field of my life, traveling, getting from A to B, and this is always linked with Russian learning. So this is it's the easy way to get your 30 to 60 minutes of Russian of language learning into your day, and it's also easy to not say, oh, okay, today I have an excuse. Oh no, I don't want to learn today. If you manage to do this for, let's say, 6 weeks, it becomes second nature. Every time you're in your car, there's Russian. Okay, so find a field of your day where you can link your language learning to. Let's say showering. Every time you're under the shower, you listen to music in Spanish or French or whatever. Or let's say every time before you go to bed, you read 10 pages of your learning language. So just be creative and find something. Point 4 is use all different types of media that you can. When I started learning a language, I was just looking for vocabulary and maybe some reading. This won't help you at all, because if you want to be able to speak a language, you need to try to speak it from the first day on. Everything that you learn, try to speak it. Let's say you learn 5 vocabularies, build 5 different sentences with it, and tell them. Go anywhere and tell those people what you just learned today. The 4 different media that I figured out are most important or out there are listening. This can be music, this can be podcast, this can be watching films, okay? So your ear, your hearing needs to get confident with the foreign language. You need to understand what the flow of the language is like. So listen every single day. Never mind what. Music, podcast, movie, just do it. Listen. The second one is speaking, as I already said. Best part is having video calls or phone calls. It's good to speak to yourself, like riding your bike or when you're in the kitchen and you talk to yourself in a different language. It's a good start to get confident with finding words and getting in speaking flow, but actually it's more important to be in the cold water and talk to foreign people. Just find someone and talk to them. The third part is actually reading, right? So go for short texts, short books, and just read the lines, try to understand as most as you can. And the fourth part is writing. Write down your vocabularies, especially if there is a different alphabet like Russian. You need it's not only that you need to understand the pronunciation and what words could look like, but you actually need to understand the single letters, so your tongue gets used to like the coordination. Your eye sees it, your brain is working with it, and your tongue is able to speak it. So you should write down what you learned. Those 4 types of media are very important. Part number 5 is to look for topics that are interesting to you. it's not good if there is a very good, let's say, tutor or language learning master or whatever, and he's telling you all his advices, or he's telling you all this grammar stuff, but the content is not interesting to you. If you are interested in something, you are more concentrated, you are more focused to understand it. So when I listen to podcasts, most of the time it deals with nutrition, sports, yoga, health, I don't know, everything that is interesting to me. And then you fill your pool of vocabularies with vocabularies that you want to use in your own day life. Okay, so I'm interested in, let's say, nutrition, so I want to try to speak with people about my interests, about my hobbies. So I need vocabulary and nutrition. Okay, so try to find in the four media parts, try to find content that is interesting to you. It's not good if you listen to this very, very good film or a podcast or whatever, but it deals with, let's say, I don't know, cars, and you're not interested in cars, so just leave it. The sixth point is download an online dictionary. Okay, or not even online, but download a dictionary. This is probably one of the most important advices, because it's so often that I'm, let's say, in the supermarket and I buy a cucumber and I think about it in Russian and I don't get it. And then it sticks in my head and I can't think about anything else but this word in Russian. And if you can just pull out your phone and type it in and translate it, see it in a dictionary, on the one hand side, it's a good feeling for you, and on the other hand side, it helps you to get connected to the language during the day. Okay, so often, let's say 10 to 20 times in the day, I think about a new word. What could this mean in Russian? Or, oh yeah, I heard that in the podcast, that was this word. So if you just look it up in the dictionary, you get more connected to the language during the day, and you learn a lot of more vocabulary, which is very important when you want to speak fluently. Yes, point 7 is use every real life chance that you get to speak Russian. Experience that I made, I was recently in Sri Lanka and there are a lot of Russian people, and then I was in this t-shirt store and there was nobody else than 2 Russian people, a couple, and me, and I recognized they speak Russian. So I just standed in front of them and said in Russian something like, "Hey guys, what's up? I'm a German guy. I try to teach myself Russian and I just want to take this opportunity and use this chance to speak with people from Russia. So just let me know, what do you think about Sri Lanka? Do you like it?" And they were very open-minded. They were friendly. They said that they love Sri Lanka and it's cool that I try to speak their language. And of course, I was not that confident. I was humbling and fumbling and I don't know what. But they just guided me through the conversation, and it was a huge I was proud of myself afterwards. So use every chance that you get, even though if you think you gonna mess it all up or you look stupid, just try. If you do mistakes, you get better. This is the worst thing that you can do. Don't speak because you're afraid to do mistakes or because you're shy or whatever. If you want to learn language, go out there and try it as often as you can. Because, as I just said, if you want to get good at something, you need to do it every single day, every single time that you can. Okay, those are the 7 advices that I got for you. And maybe one more advice, number 8, which is a good start, but can be kind of difficult, is to go out there and tell everybody that you learn a new language. Because if you just quit after 2 or 4 weeks, then you make a huge clown of yourself, right? Because you told everybody like you want to learn the language, and after 2 weeks you quit. Oh, okay, I knew that guy doesn't finish anything. Okay, so if you're really eager to learn the language, go out there and tell everybody. So there's a necessity for you to learn it. Or if you're kind of afraid that you easily might quit after a few weeks, then keep it to yourself. But those 7 advices are the ones that I can give you from my own experience, what I learned, how to figure out how to teach oneself a language. And yeah, this is not really how to learn a language. This is more what I can give you guys. Hope this might help. If you're interested in learning languages, I'm going to put online more of those videos, more content. Yeah, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. До встречи, пока-пока. Я люблю русский язык. Enjoy. Stay cool.